Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where, yep, it's still confirmed that Enzo Amore is a tool. It's lost in the Midcard. Welcome to our post-Takeover War Games Part 2, post-Survivor Series show, as well as what happened on Raw and SmackDown after those. With a Thanksgiving week, we're coming at you a day early, so we're coming at you right after we freshly watched SmackDown Live. And Randy Orton being Randy Orton. We're going to break down the weekend of pay-per-views and let you know what we thought. But first, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost to the Midcard. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, every Thursday and select Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also find us on the YouTube. The links to all that are on our social media. Go to Facebook, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Go to our Twitter at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. As always, my co-host is on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I was doing great on Saturday. In these last 3 days,
Yeah, SmackDown was SmackDown was weird tonight.
I feel like they like it's the end of a 4-day. It's into the 4-day loop in this same building. We're tired. We're about to go home for Thanksgiving.
Let's mail it in.
Let's mail it in and not do anything of substance tonight whatsoever. And I really feel like that's what SmackDown was tonight. I thought we were going to get some major fallout from the pay-per-view tonight.
Nope.
And we really didn't get anything. Shane didn't seem to give a flying fuck about the fact that SmackDown got swept.
And
on Sunday,
the SmackDown,
because we're not allowed to count the pre-show.
And the SmackDown preview, it said they're going to discuss what happened on Miz TV, which they didn't. We'll get into that later on at the end of the show. They really just seemed like they didn't care tonight. Yeah, it was a weird fucking show. That's for damn sure. Back on the show, joining us, he is on the Twitter at no one like D. Daryl Bullock. Back on the show, Daryl. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Nothing else counted after Saturday.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it now. What was the better takeover now, New Orleans or War Games 2? That's going to be the toughie. But takeover War Games was phenomenal. I mean, you know, as all takeovers usually are, and by far they stole the show over the weekend. Don't you think, Matt?
I think it wasn't even a question.
No.
A lot of people want to talk about Rousey and Charlotte and Bryan and Brock, but to me, yeah, they were good. They were good matches, but the outcomes were predictable from a mile away.
Yeah.
I knew we weren't going to get a finish in Charlotte versus Rousey, and I knew Bryan wasn't going to beat Brock. And so you can say all you want about everything that led up to the finish, but when the finish is never in question, to me, it's not nearly as entertaining. You go into TakeOver, and literally every match you can go, well, I can see why this person could win, but I also see why this person could win too.
Yeah.
And you go and you're like, you're not sure who's going to win. But Survivor Series, their best matches, to me, it was like already so obvious who was going to win ahead of time that it doesn't make it nearly as interesting.
Yeah, and like for example, on Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream, I mean, Daryl, it almost seemed like it was obvious that Ciampa was going to retain, but then they made you believe that maybe they were going to put it on Dream, didn't you?
Dude, that match was classic storytelling at its finest. You pretty much, like you said, you saw that you thought that Tommaso was going to keep the title. But then the swerves where you saw him get up from the Purple Rainmaker, and you're just like, what the fuck? And next thing you know, Tommaso wins still.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Like they seriously kept us at home, and they kept the crowd at the Staples Center just like in tune. Like they drew you in, and you just dialed in the whole match from entrance to finish. Just nonstop action.
Welcome back to NXT, Mauro Ranallo. He was off for a little while doing some other business, and he made his return to TakeOver here in Los Angeles. The show kicks off with what? Bro. Matt Riddle's entrance, and he got into it with Cassius Ohno on the kickoff show, and said they were going to have a match on NXT next week, but hey, there's a ring here, so I'm going to knock him out right now. Ohno showed up and told Riddle that he's too stupid to know that he's not supposed to be out here right now, but there's a ref already in the ring, so here we go, and 6 seconds later, Ohno ate a knee, and Matt Riddle wins in probably the quickest match in TakeOver history and probably the quickest match in NXT history. What did you think of this being added to the main card, Matt?
I was excited until it was 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
Like I want to see these guys get 10 or 15 minutes.
Probably will. Ohno's like, hey,
I hope so. I hope that was just the beginning of the feud. But they started that, and I'm just like, damn, we're gonna get 5 matches after all. This is awesome. And then, you blink an eye and the match is over. To me, that was the only disappointing part of TakeOver for me.
But it was like
other than that,
it was like a microscopic part of TakeOver. So
I was happy with it because you didn't expect it, but we still got a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you saw an inkling on the pre-show. They teased it like, oh, okay, now we gotta wait for the TV taping for it to come on.
Yeah.
And then as soon as TakeOver comes on, you hear Matt Riddle's music come out. And although it was 5 minutes, 5 seconds, whatever the case may be,
it was 5 seconds, pal.
Yeah, I mean, but you still got something. You still
got. But if we would have waited for it on TV next week, we would have got a 10 to 15 minute match.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
I rather would have waited and got a full match.
What tells you more here though is the fact that how impressed they are with Matt Riddle. He's had one match on NXT, and he's already bumped into the main card and gets a 6-second win over.
But how many people have done that in a TakeOver? Got a 5-second match. How many?
Nobody.
It says a lot. It says a lot about what they're going to do with Matt Riddle. Apparently.
No, I'm not. Look. This is one of those matches that I was just like, when they first started talking about it, I'm like, I can't wait to see this match. And I feel like it was kind of like, oh, you want to see this match? Well, too bad, not right now.
Except Ohno doesn't
that's
go
how
over
I kind of felt it. That's kind of how I felt it was portrayed to me, anyway.
Yeah, it's odd that they don't push Ohno at all. I mean, he just puts everybody over, which is so odd to me. I figured with him coming back, he would get a little sizable push, but he just gets jobbed all the time.
He's a test dummy,
I guess.
He's down there as the veteran of that locker room, and he's down there to help train and bring up everybody else.
Okay,
I mean that's really Ohno's role. Like I don't ever foresee him being able to come up to the main roster as long as Vince is running things up there. But as long as he's happy down in NXT and he continues to help develop the talent down there, I don't have a problem with the role that he has down there either.
Next up is the 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Women's Championship. The champion, Shayna Baszler, taking on Kairi Sane. Didn't take long for Duke and Shafir to get involved. They did it right off from the get-go, and the interference cost Sane the first fall as literally just a couple minutes into the match when they attacked Sane, and then Baszler puts on the Kirifuda clutch. Then Sane gets back, finally gets the upper hand. Duke and Shafir tried to interfere, but Sane avoided those attacks and hit the flying elbow off of the top rope to the outside on all three women, and then hit the insane elbow on Baszler to even it up. Probably what's more telling, more impressive in this match was how about that move that Sane put on Baszler on the apron during this match. You know what I'm talking about, the DDT reversal?
Oh yeah, that was sick.
I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I had to remember.
Yeah. Third fall. Once again, Duke and Shafir get involved, and we find out who is going to help Sane even up the odds. It is Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, but none of that mattered as Baszler was able to fight off the insane elbow and hook the arms to get a pinfall. So Shayna Baszler retains the NXT Women's Championship and walks up the ramp with her four horsewomen buddies. Matt, what did you think of that outcome?
I don't understand the 2 to 3 month build up for Bianca Belair right now, and I have no desire to see Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler. To me, their personalities are so.
Yeah, it's unless they start making unless they start making Bianca a babyface. Yeah, it's going to be.
And I can't see Bianca. Bianca doesn't have the attitude to be a babyface. She is a naturally born heel, and so is Shayna. I can't imagine putting those two together in the ring without a third component to make it work.
What doesn't make sense to me is for the past year, or what happened last year in Brooklyn for SummerSlam, they had a call up at least one or two in 2017. Brooklyn this year, they didn't have any call ups at all, and you expected it this year too, but they didn't have any call ups, and you would expect it to be, since they didn't have many this year, that it might have been for SummerSlam. I mean, I'm sorry, Survivor Series as well. And there were none as well with Lars, yeah.
Yeah, Lars is coming up.
But yeah, I mean, you would have thought it may have been, Shayna, like you said.
I already think I know how Lars is going to debut, but we'll save that for later.
But you would have thought it may have been Shayna in order to, like you said, keep the title on Kyrie, in order to bring Bianca into the title picture. But it doesn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense to me. As much as I love Shayna, to win again. I don't know if you're trying to do something Asuka-esque to keep the title on her and then just migrate her up. None of it makes sense to me at all.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I don't understand it either. I know. I think WWE's issue right now, as soon as they bring Baszler up, they got to bring the other two up with her.
Right.
And they don't feel they're ready. So I think Shayna's almost being held in limbo right now because they got to get the other two ready to come up with her. And I also feel when those three finally come to the main roster, they're going to have to pull the trigger on the Ronda Rousey heel turn, which they teased after the match at SummerSlam with her look at the crowd. Yeah. And they're not ready to do that yet. I feel
because
by the time
other two
we
aren't
get
ready yet.
Yeah, I feel they're not ready to turn Ronda heel yet. WWE as a company isn't ready to do that. But I feel by the time we get to WrestleMania in New Jersey, there's a very good chance that when we get Becky Lynch versus Ronda at WrestleMania, Becky's going to be a babyface and Ronda's going to be a heel.
Yeah.
And the horsewomen, respectively, can be in both of their corners in that match.
Yeah, and
honestly do that at the Rumble. You can honestly set that up at the Rumble.
I think they're going to do Charlotte and Ronda at the Rumble, though, again.
I do, too. I think Charlotte and Ronda happens at the Rumble. I think
this next set of tapings, I think this is a weird set of tapings. I think they're only taping one episode, and then they go back to Full Sail, or it's something odd. I can't remember what they're doing. But I think Shafir and Duke are going to get more involved in the next tapings, and then I bet they'll probably see how they're doing with that. There'll probably be that 6-woman feud between Sane, Shirai, and Dakota Kai and the 4 Horsewomen. They'll probably have that as a one of the main feuds during the next set of tapings. So that'll probably be their way to see where these girls are at and how they're working in the ring.
It makes sense because you see that's a safe way to bring them in. But then you also see how Bailey and Sasha are in limbo too. They're really not doing too much of anything on the main roster. Like they're just pretty much just chilling.
I feel like they're just chilling and waiting for the tag titles to be introduced.
Yeah,
that's true.
I feel like
well.
we're putting you two together. We're putting Jax and Tamina together. We're secretly and quietly putting all these tag teams together across these two brands, Naomi and Asuka, and you've got Mandy and Sonya hopefully stick together, and all these pairings and the Iconics and everything, and they're quietly pairing all these women together. You can even say Mickey and Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
When Bliss is healthy again, and all of a sudden they're like, here's the tag team titles, hey, everybody has something to fight for.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see them. The beginning of that tag division being completely centered around Bailey and Sasha.
You forgot one important tag team. That's Carmella and R-Truth.
Will you stop?
I hate you.
By the way, since we didn't get Ono and Riddle for this week, so what did they tape? What matches did they tape for tomorrow's NXT?
Oh,
I
have no
remember.
clue.
I actually went and looked to see if that match was taped anyway, and I know it wasn't. They taped 2 matches. I don't remember what they were. I can go back and look if you want me to.
No, that's all right.
But I don't remember.
It's going to be mainly a recap show anyway, so.
Like I said, it was 2 matches. So
Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black is up next, and these guys fucking tore the house down. That's for damn sure. Johnny Gargano, Mauro noted that Gargano is in his record 11th takeover match. He is sporting the Johnny Takeover tights in the font of the Punisher as an homage to Stan Lee. This was really, really fucking good. These guys were just beating the shit out of each other, weren't they?
hard hitting shit, man.
What did I tell both of you before the match started? It's going to be a stiff match.
There's actually 3 matches for the taping.
Okay.
It's Keith Lee against somebody I've never heard of. Lars Sullivan in a squash, and the main event's Nikki Cross versus Candice LeRae. So that's what we're getting on Wednesday.
Gargano was towards the end of the match begging for mercy, but he even was kissing the boot of Aleister Black. I thought that was funny. He wanted Black to just put him out of his misery. But when Black went for the Black Mask, Gargano was faking it and rolled him up, but didn't get the win. Put on the Gargano submission, but Black countered it. Then Black hit a knee to the face, a knee to the jaw, and then there was the Black Mask. The fans in LA chanted one more time, so Black said, okay, and hit one more Black Mask to end the match after 18 minutes. Aleister Black defeating Johnny Gargano in what was a brilliant, hard-hitting match. Black standing over Gargano after the match, saying that that Gargano has been absolved of his sins. Makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if those 2 Black Mask kicks maybe knock the sense back into Gargano and he becomes that babyface again. That's just my guess. What do you think, Daryl?
It's a strong possibility. But what throws me off is if you paid attention to Ciampa's tweets when we found out that Gargano was the one that attacked Black. It sounded like those 2 were going to team up again. So I don't know. It's a possibility.
Ciampa's showing a lot of love for Gargano on Twitter lately. That's for damn sure. What do you think, Matt?
Gargano's not going back face anytime soon. He's continuing his travel to the dark side.
To the dark side. What did you think of that match?
That shit was.
I thought it was fucking awesome.
I loved it.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to be hard to top this one for match of the night. Then the next match happened. Oh, that was match of the night. Hard to top that one. Oh, then War Games happened. It was insane. That leads us to the NXT title match. Dream, big ovation from the crowd in LA. Paying homage to Hollywood Hulk Hogan, brother. Wearing the black and white and in a shirt OVA in the font of the NWO, because, the Dream is over, baby. And Ciampa comes clutching his title because, he doesn't want to let it go. And clearly, the fans behind Velveteen Dream. And Daryl, what did you see out of this match with Dream in his biggest match of his career?
I think it was Morrow that dubbed Velveteen Mr. Takeover. This dude performs at every takeover. I don't care if he wins. I don't care if he loses. He puts on a fucking show every takeover. Like, he did it. He did it for me.
Yeah,
I can't deny it. Like you said earlier, you thought one match was the best match of the night. This for me was the match of the night. I don't care. You already knew what you were gonna get with War Games, but this for me was going to be the best match of the night, regardless. I don't care who won because I like both of them.
Yeah.
But the storytelling, a pure wrestling match, both guys just standing there going toe to toe. This was my favorite match.
Dream definitely teased the Hulk Hogan leg drop a couple times. He didn't hit it the first time, but he would get it later on. Something I want to see more from Velveteen Dream, I think, especially as a babyface, I want to see him do that figure four leg lock a little more. I kind of like that. Obviously, it's a popular move because the crowd woos every time it's slapped on. I want to kind of see Dream do that a little more often. Matt, what did you see? I mean, obviously, Dream comes from the land of wrestling near you guys, so you've seen Dream all the way from the beginnings, and now you see him here in his biggest NXT match of his young career so far. Matt, what did you see out of this title match?
I thought the match was incredible, and there was that spot where he hit the DVD on the outside,
and then the elbow
hit the elbow afterwards, and that was at the moment I'm like, they might actually do this.
I was convinced. I was convinced he was going to win.
As soon as Ciampa kicked out, I looked at my friend and I'm like, Ciampa's not dropping the title here. No. I'm like, if there was at any point to do it, it would have been right there.
Yep.
He kicked out. Like, we're not getting the title change. But the match was so damn good, and these guys with their contrasting styles performed at such a high level. It was amazing to watch. I agree with Daryl. This was hands down my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it was. Dream has got it together, and it's so much more than a gimmick. You thought maybe at first, this is just going to be a gimmick. I think, Matt, you might have even said it yourself on the podcast when Dream first started. You didn't think he could maybe get over with this gimmick, but thankfully his wrestling prowess took over, and now I mean, is this not the most unique and fresh gimmick on one of the best wrestlers in the company? I mean, isn't this just like one of the? It's like there's a lot of Rick Rude, but I mean, there's like a Prince flavor to it, obviously, with Purple Rainmaker and such, and his fashion sense. It's a unique gimmick that he isn't carried by the gimmick. His actions kind of may enhance the gimmick, and then his in-ring psychology is just off the damn charts.
You know who I see with it? I see a lot of Gold Dust.
Yeah.
It's his wrestling speaks for it, but it's rare that you see a person or a wrestler embrace the character, and when you embrace the character, you live the character, and it's in ring too. So like because in the age of social media now, because you look at people's names on Twitter, for instance, you'll see like AJ Styles WWE, but then you'll see the person's real name above it.
Mhm.
But Dream is Dream. He's not Patrick Clark anymore.
Mhm.
He's the Velveteen Dream. When he steps in the ring, when he comes out the ring, when he goes in the bathroom, when he hops in the shower, when he goes to McDonald's, he's Velveteen Dream. That's what he is.
Do you think Velveteen Dream eats McDonald's?
I'm pretty sure he does.
I don't know, man.
He gets
might have
he gets himself a McRib every November.
Yeah, you got to.
But
he embraces it. You know what I mean? And it's pure. That's old school wrestling.
Yeah. Well, it's just like Elias. I mean, it's a simple gimmick.
Absolutely.
And he got it over as a heel, and it only made sense to make him a babyface, and it's still resonating. It's not died off yet. So, and it's not going to die off with Dream as a babyface either. So. Just like his takeover match with Aleister Black, Dream went for a little too much. He went for a purple Rainmaker while Ciampa was on the apron, but Ciampa moved, and Dream crashed and burned, and that's where Ciampa hit DDT off the ropes into the steel in between the two rings, and that was it, as Tommaso Ciampa won after a brilliant 22.5-minute title match. So, it was good stuff, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That leads us to War Games. War Games, of course, you know all the rules by now, so we'll leave that at that. But kicking off the things were Ricochet and Adam Cole. Of course, the bad guys have the advantage thanks to Kyle O'Reilly defeating Hanson on the last edition of NXT. And Matt, what stood out to you most here when you watched the second iteration of War Games within the NXT brand?
That Ricochet's out of his fucking mind.
Woo! Fucker did
That dude's crazy, man.
Fucker did a 630 off the cage.
How do you flip? How do you do a backflip twice in midair?
Man, I don't know, dude. That shit was nuts.
Oh wait, that was a reverse 630, by the way. He usually does the 630 off the top ropes for his.
Dude, he did a backflip twice in midair.
Yeah. Ugh. Wow.
Oh boy.
I absolutely loved what Fish did, locking Dunn into that cage, and beating the shit out of him. I thought that was great heel work right there, because of course the match can't start until all 8 men are in the cage. So
the only thing I didn't like about that was it made everybody look really fucking dumb. Like, you put the second lock on. All right, ref. Yeah. How about right now you go back and get the goddamn bowl cutters?
Yeah.
And you don't freaking wait for 5 minutes like a bunch of morons. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh wait, we can't get it open after all. Like, that part was dumb. But
instead of padlocks next year, do like a sliding bar lock, because that took forever to get that damn key to unlock the padlock, man.
NXT's budget's not as good as WWE's.
You just gotta put a sliding hinge on the door, so then the bar goes across where that way you can't open the door. It's simple.
I hear you.
Simple. I'll tell you what, if people that didn't know what the War Raiders could do, they those that didn't watch Ring of Honor, and you haven't seen everything yet in NXT out of these guys, but if you haven't seen them in Ring of Honor and you're just now getting a taste of the War Raiders, I think you basically got a full taste of what those boys could do at War Games, didn't you?
The most athletic big man tag team in the world.
Man, they did some cool shit. It was good. It almost felt like that Undisputed was going to win it. Just like you were saying, it's like, they aren't going to win. But, throughout the match, there were points where we thought, oh, they are going to come out on top, and I thought maybe when Matt thought he heard a guy was under the ring, I thought maybe Dijak was going to help the Undisputed Era win or something, but that turned out to be nothing much. But there were seriously some moments where you're like, oh shit, that they are going to win. But I mean, just the shit that they did. And they even, the Tower of Doom spot is overdone in the WWE so much, but this Tower of Doom was fucking cool, wasn't it?
It was definitely the most unique one I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, that led to the only guy being on top of the cage, Ricochet, when he does his crazy double backflip shit. Woo.
Who thinks of shit like that?
Man.
Apparently Ricochet.
You just sitting at home playing video games. I'm just going to do I'm gonna do a double backflip.
Cool moment at the end. Dunn hits the bitter end. Ricochet with a 450 splash, and they both cover. Adam Cole at the same time to get the win, and this match went about 48 minutes. It was incredible.
It was good to see Bobby Fish back in the ring.
It was. And it was weird because 47 minutes seems like forever, but it didn't feel like it here, did it?
No, because it was just nonstop action.
God,
nothing ever feels long when watching a takeover event.
Man,
I've never watched a takeover event and go, man, this is going long. Like I've never felt that way watching one of their shows.
Because they keep you tuned in.
Yeah.
Like you're just tuned in. You're not bored. You don't have a bathroom break. You don't have a sandwich break. None of that.
They keep you emotionally invested.
Right.
And everybody, all 8 guys, man. Props to all 8 guys. They did a hell of a job for War Games. Now we got to do it all again next year and wonder who we're going to have in it. Because, God, you almost think you got to call the era up sometime within the next year, right?
Yeah.
I want them to stay in NXT forever.
Me too. I want the era in NXT and then the Elite
And the
comes in.
I mean, honestly, there's something very interesting that Triple H has talked about.
What's that?
On his last couple conference calls, more about the idea of NXT legitimately being a third brand and not,
not
considered
not
to be
well,
like a developmental territory.
I mean, it's not really developmental.
To the point where he's talking about people who are on SmackDown and Raw now who aren't really getting the TV time or the exposure that he feels that they need, that they could come over to NXT and get revitalized on the NXT show.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
And he said that said that a few times. He said that a few months ago.
Yeah, but he seemed a lot more dialed into it this past week than ever before.
Yeah, good.
And, I think that'd be great. And you know what? The reason why maybe why the only call up we've seen in the last 4 months being Lars Sullivan. Maybe Triple H is fighting to keep his talent because he's legitimately fighting to make NXT a legitimate third brand within this company.
And it's not going to be a call down when you go to NXT either.
No, because I think a lot of people who were previously at NXT, if they get called back to NXT, I don't think they're going to be complaining.
A, Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. B, Bobby Roode.
And their money's not going to change.
But Bobby Roode just needs to turn.
If they're on like the main roster contract and they go work NXT, they're not going to change their contract.
Not at all.
So they're going to be making main roster money to be happier, under Triple H and working in NXT.
Hell, that might even bring Neville.
You never know. A gigantic big win to me.
You never know. That could bring Neville back. You never know.
I don't think we're ever going to see Neville back now.
So at the end, Ricochet and Dunn climb the cage with their titles, nodding to show respect as we go off the air. Amazing takeover.
I will say this regarding Neville though. I think if they would have released him when he initially requested his release, I think there would have been a chance to see him come back. The fact that they made him sit home for 8 to 9 months or however long it was before finally letting him go, I think that pretty much solidified the deal that we don't ever see him back.
Yeah.
And it's very funny the way it all worked out because he was sitting at home for the longest time. And then it was the takeover over the summer. I think it was SummerSlam's takeover. And somebody mentioned to Triple H on on the conference call about the status of Neville and if he would be a fit in NXT UK and all that. And Triple H is like, you know what? He'd be great here. He's one of the best. He's like, I don't really know his contract status at the moment. I'm going to have to look into that. And less than a week later, Neville was released from his deal. So
Wow.
maybe Triple H is trying to think about, maybe he didn't realize the situation that was going on because, he's dealing with so much shit already. And he's like, why the fuck are you making this guy sit at home if he wants to go, rebuild his name out
Tripp's
here?
not going to go to Vince, and say, hey, can I have Neville
I don't know,
back?
man. I bet you, dude, Triple H had something to do with getting him out of his deal.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised at that. I'm not surprised at that at all because I'm not surprised that half the talent that has been bumped up to the main roster that Vince has sitting idle, not doing anything at all. Trips is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
I guarantee you Triple H beats his head off the wall.
Yeah.
On several occasions at Titan Towers every week.
Yeah.
Overseeing what Vince has done to his talents that he built up beautifully. And they're being absolutely wasted on the main roster right now.
There's no reason in hell that people come to Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or the Rumble for the main show anymore. They don't. They come for TakeOver.
Yeah.
What did I tell you guys? The first Mania I went to, I said I was coming for TakeOver.
I told you guys all months ago. If the New Japan Ring of Honor show would have been Saturday afternoon or Friday night, I would have gone to New York next year.
So
I would have gone to TakeOver. I'd have gone to the New Japan Ring of Honor show, and I'd have come home Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you ain't getting me to sit in that damn stadium again for fucking another fucking WrestleMania. No, thank you.
For 8 hours.
I just don't like that area, period. But like that being said, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
We were talking about on the show last week. There's supposed to be a big ticket sale party, and that got postponed because of what? Weather.
It wasn't no damn weather.
So
it was just a little bit of sleet. That's all it was.
Survivor Series. Apparently the kickoff show doesn't matter as SmackDown's tag team division defeated Raw's tag team division on a 10-on-10 match, but I guess that doesn't count towards the score, which was fucking stupid. The women kicked things off on the main card. Raw, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, joined by Sasha Banks and Bayley because Ruby Riott and Natalya got into it during the pre-show, and so Alexa Bliss, the captain, kicked them off the team. So, hey, here we go. We got Sasha Banks and Bayley on the pay-per-view like they should be. They take on SmackDown's team of Naomi, Asuka, Carmella, Sonya Deville, and they add Mandy Rose to it. This basically to me...
That's probably the only right thing they did on this entire pay-per-view was putting Mandy Rose on it.
Yeah, well, this match really it didn't take off for me until he really got down to the final four. But after that, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I think decent's being you're a little too kind.
Yeah. It came down to Asuka against Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. Banks was going for probably the Eddie Guerrero frog splash, but her own teammate Nia Jax pushes her off and right into the Asuka lock. And then it didn't take too long from there for Nia Jax to defeat Asuka herself with some leg drops. And so Team Raw wins with Nia Jax being the sole survivor. And boy, Nia Jax sure got some heat in LA, didn't she?
Yeah, because fans fucking hate her. Hey, she's not getting good heel heat. She's getting, X-Pac heat.
Yeah.
Which I never understood because I actually liked X-Pac.
Yeah.
That's the term that it's referred to.
Shout out to X-Pac.
It's go away heat. It's like it's not that we're booing you because we think you're a great heel. It's we're booing you because you fucking suck. You're unsafe and you need to go back down to the Performance Center heat.
It's fuck you heat for leaving the man off of the pay-per-view. Shout out to X-Pac for showing up at Takeover with his support dog too. That dog got a pop on social media. Everybody was in love with that dog.
Yeah, I was surprised they let the dog in the building.
Are we talking about X-Pac's dog again?
We are.
He brought it up.
So yeah, that's where we learned
on Xbox dog.
Yeah, why are you hating? After Nia Jax gets the win, that's where we learned that the kickoff show doesn't count. And then Stephanie told Corbin they need Raw to sweep if he wants to become a full GM. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Hey, right, Raw sweeping SmackDown. Yeah, right. Okay. That's what fucking happened, huh? At least next up is something we could look forward to. It's Shinsuke Nakamura against Seth Rollins. Very good, very even match. These guys work well together. I'd love to see a feud with these guys somewhere down the line. Were you surprised that Rollins went over here and no Ambrose to interfere, Matt?
The way they treat Nakamura, unfortunately, it did not surprise me, but I was extremely disappointed. Nakamura needed this win badly, even if it would have been due to interference from Dean Ambrose. It still would have been a really good win that Nakamura could desperately need. The United States title has never meant less than it has in the last 5 years. They literally put the title on Nakamura, and that dude sits in catering more often than not lately.
That's what he did tonight.
I hate it. I hate what they've done with him. And the only reason he's got a title on right now is so the fans will shut up. Because they're tired of hearing the fans, you're not using Nakamura right. So all they do is, hey, he's the United States champion. We're using him great. But you're really not. You're not doing anything with him. It fucking sucks.
It's like when Dean Ambrose was the United States champion for 350 days and he defended it like 10 times that whole time.
Well, they proved how good Nakamura is in the match with Rollins on Sunday.
Yeah.
He's a great hand. He could be utilized so much better on the main roster than he's been used. And they just don't fucking get it. Well, I guess I shouldn't say they. Vince just doesn't fucking get it.
Well, and I guess Vince does have the final say, even though he's never at SmackDown. I guess he still does the final say of what direction they go with people. So yeah,
Vince is a douche.
Yeah, we all know that. What'd you think of the match there, Daryl?
The match was great. I mean, like I told both of you guys this weekend, like outside of what was supposed to happen with Ronda and Becky, this was going to be the second best match, and to me, this was going to be the best match, but like just pure wrestling. Mm-hmm. And it was a fun match. Like I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't think that...
And it was probably the best match on the show where you honestly didn't know which way they were going to go in terms of a win.
Yeah, I don't think Seth needed to win.
He really did. He really did need to win.
Like I think that Seth is. I think that Seth is one of Vince's golden boys, so I think that's why he won. But he didn't need it at all.
Next up was the Bar and AOP. This really was a yawner. It went about 9 minutes. The highlight was Drake Maverick pissing his pants so Vince McMahon can.
That was the highlight was Enzo Amore in the crowd getting tackled.
Pretty much.
I'm getting there, but yeah. I was jokingly gonna say the highlight was Drake Maverick pissing his pants so Vince McMahon then can run off with a bunch of pee jokes on Raw the next night.
That was the worst. That was the worst thing about freaking.
That was stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was being sarcastic, but the beginning of the match,
kind of humor, it's so fucking childish.
So the beginning of the match, I'm like, what are they fucking chanting? And then all of a sudden, all over social media, Enzo Amore was in the second row in disguise.
How you doing?
And trying and rallying up the crowd.
Hilarious.
Before he got pulled off the chair.
I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah, that was weird. But, yeah, AOP wins in about 9 minutes.
If he never would have stood, look, the dude never would have stood on his chair. He never would have been kicked out.
But
he shouldn't have stood on his chair.
What was the purpose of him doing that?
He had an album come out just this week.
Yeah, he performed a concert in LA over the weekend and just decided to show up at Survivor Series to annoy the company. Because, I mean, that's really all it was. He was just there to piss WWE off.
And he just released an album, so he wanted to get that attention, and that's why
That's why
he got himself kicked off a plane last week too. You know.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got a story on that later.
Okay.
I really don't think the reason he got kicked off the plane was to get attention for his album.
Who knows? With Enzo, who knows?
You never know.
The Raw team in the locker room talking strategy and R-Truth showing up to get them on the same page. R-Truth is just great. His comedy is great. And anyways, the one guy got a good video of Enzo. He's standing right next to him. That's kind of funny. That guy basically grabbed him by the belt and pulled him off the chair.
That was a woman, dude.
Yeah, that was
Was it a woman? Oh, I didn't even look close.
That was the same woman who tried to stop Gronk from jumping the barricade at WrestleMania a few years ago.
Ah. Next up, hey guys, the Cruiserweight Championship's being defended on the main card.
It's about damn time.
Right.
The crowd didn't care for some of it because Vince doesn't care about 205 Live, but
it's just the crowd didn't know who they were.
Yeah, and then,
I felt they won. I felt by the end of it all, they won that crowd over.
That's what I was just.
Hell yeah!
That's what I was just gonna say. This was the first time "This was awesome" was chanted. It wasn't chanted during Rollins and Nakamura. "This is awesome." First time it was chanted by LA was this match: Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali. I think it was a good. It was a great show. It was a great showing for the Cruiserweight division. Hopefully, the title gets. Featured on the main card a lot more. Ali hitting the Spanish Fly off the announce table. That was sick.
That was beautiful.
Ali went for the 054, which is the inverted 450 splash, but Murphy blocked. And Ali went for a springboard attack, but got a knee to the face, and then Murphy hit Murphy's Law for the win after 12:20. Was the official ring time. Buddy Murphy still your Cruiserweight champion. I thought this was Ali's time and they were going to turn Cedric heel, but I guess that's not where they're going now. But still a hell of a showing for the Cruiserweights on the main card, right, Matt?
Yeah, the only thing I could have asked for, I would have preferred that they got a couple more minutes than they got. Yeah. Especially since they had so much time.
12 ain't bad, though.
On the show going off the air.
12 ain't bad.
But... No, I just look. I still don't think 205 Live gets more than. I still don't think they get enough credit for what they do.
No.
So that's all I'm saying.
They show a video package. We also, I think, saw the video package during the kickoff show as well. Lars Sullivan being called up to the main roster. It just says coming soon. We don't know where, when, or what. But Matt,
and I thought we figured it out on Monday with Raw, but then they showed it on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah.
So
and then I tweeted it tonight. I go, yeah, right. Vince is going to have this guy on Raw. don't.
He's coming to Raw, dude.
Yeah, he's going to Raw. You said you had a theory of was that your theory that he was just going to be on Raw or what? You had teased something, Matt, on Twitter today.
Actually, I teased it right here on the show, you jobber.
Yeah, he did.
Well, you teased it on Twitter this afternoon, too.
I really didn't, though. The thing I teased on Twitter this afternoon was explaining why the crowd pro Charlotte was and anti-Rousey, which we will get to when we get to that match. Here's my problem with my scenario. If they do this is an instant death sentence for Lars Sullivan. But I could totally see Vince doing it anyway because Vince just doesn't give a fuck about the NXT talents anyway. I could see Lars Sullivan debuting at TLC and costing Braun the match against.
I knew you were going to say this shit.
God, how many times are they going to fuck Braun Strowman?
And him being Corbin's hired muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And then Braun ends up beating Lars Sullivan at the Royal Rumble.
It sounds like a Vince thing. Two big-ass dudes fucking each other up.
Vince will be oiling himself up in Gorilla, man.
Yeah. See, the problem is I feel that they're going to instantly kill Lars Sullivan if they go that route. So I'm a little worried. I'm hoping that's not how he debuts. I'm hoping they think of something better. But just my gut instinct from the way Vince thinks, that sounds like his debut to me.
You got to give Vince a little bit more credit than that, though.
Instantly fed to Strowman afterwards.
I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna do like the Ryback thing. He's gonna kill a bunch of jobbers for 2 months and then get in a minor feud.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. The Ryback thing, he did the same thing with Braun. Braun killed a couple of people before
made James Ellsworth famous.
Absolutely. So, I mean, he may do the same thing. You never know. I give Vince a little bit of credit. I'm hoping that your theory is wrong. You give him more credit than
I do, pal.
I mean, I already knew what you were going to say before you were going to say it. I'm just hoping that's not that damn stupid, because I really don't want to see Baron Corbin as GM, but I can see it because what else is he going to do in the meantime, between time?
Yeah, if they honestly, if they do that, I'm gonna be fucking.
It's clearly his most meaningful role in the WWE so far. So I mean,
and you're gonna get your classic Matt Black tweet. Man, fuck this company.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fuck this company, next up was the men's traditional Survivor Series elimination match, and 30 seconds into it, Samoa Joe gets eliminated. That
was the dumbest fucking shit ever.
Crowd starts chanting.
That's when I was done for the night.
I went upstairs to fix my goddamn steak.
I was so fucking bad.
LA chanting bullshit at that.
And honestly, dude, I hear some people like, maybe he's still hurt. Well, if he's still hurt, then he shouldn't be in the ring at all right now.
Absolutely.
There's somebody you could have put Orton in. You could have put Orton in that match.
Yep.
There were plenty of other people on the SmackDown brand that could have filled that spot. So if Joe is still quote unquote hurt, and that's your reasoning for doing it, just to get him out of the ring quick, then don't have him in the damn match at all. Really pissed me off. That was my final straw for the show that night. I was done after that.
You look at it theoretically, that was your X factor right there, because everybody else was too fucking small to compete with that team. That team.
He was the only one that could help. Yeah.
Right, and then you eliminate him first.
What's up with
dumb shit is that?
What's up with having Shane be the last one for SmackDown again?
Dude, I thought they were gonna fucking let him win.
Oh really?
When it came down to 1-on-3, I looked at my friend. I'm like, you know what? Shane's gonna win this.
She's
like, really? I'm like, yeah. Somehow, some way, Super Shane's gonna win this fucking match.
Super Shane.
Strowman could kill McIntyre and Lashley and let Shane win. That could have happened, I guess.
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, well, I could see Strowman costing McIntyre. Getting him eliminated, but I don't understand how they're going to get rid of Lashley.
Yeah.
And they ended up not having to. But dude, swear to God, if Shane would have beat all three of those dudes, I would not have been the slightest bit surprised.
Matt, he's the best in the world.
So they say. Can't wait for CM Punk versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
Chris Jericho, special guest referee.
God.
So your survivors, Strowman, McIntyre, Lashley. After the match, McIntyre and Lashley beat the shit out of Strowman. Corbin hit a cheap shot to kickstart that. Rollins interviewed by Charlie Caruso. That's where we find out that it'll be Rollins and Ambrose at TLC for the IC title. Next up is Rousey and Flair. Which was a great match, but nobody's talking about the match, are they? Oh man, they're talking about that beat down that Charlotte Flair gave Ronda Rousey after getting disqualified by hitting her with a kendo stick, and then Charlotte kicked it up a notch, I would say, and beat the holy fuck out of Ronda Rousey, and there were welts and blood everywhere, and god damn it, I liked it, Matt. That was a
calm down.
That was a
sound like you were getting horny there, sir.
Well, maybe I am. We didn't expect that, did we? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Maybe both.
We're both horny, Matt. Look out. That was a great fucking beatdown. I mean, they would call it a heel turn, but
I've never really enjoyed an ass whooping like that in a long time.
LA sure as hell wasn't booing Charlotte for that. So, once again, on paper, Vince has it as heel turn, and, well, nope. So the crowd is booing Ronda Rousey as she limps up the ramp. Matt?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the segment where Matt explains why they didn't boo Charlotte.
I think it's honesty. Let me put it this way: had this match happened earlier on in the show, I think this would have been more of a pro Rousey crowd. But you need to keep in mind, if we got to go all the way back to the pre-show when the New Day were on the microphones and they were talking up the crowd before the 20-man clusterfuck.
That's the official title of that match, by the way.
Yes, it totally is. Any freaking time the New Day mentioned Monday Night Raw, that brand was booed out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
We knew from the get-go, before the quote-unquote real pay-per-view even started, you had this show sitting in front of a pro blue brand SmackDown Live crowd. And with every match, they had Raw beat down SmackDown. That crowd got more irritated, more annoyed, and more not giving a fuck about the show. So by the time they got to that point, they didn't even give a fuck about the fact that Charlotte didn't win. They were just loving the hell out of the fact that a SmackDown guy was beating the shit out of a Raw guy.
Yeah.
And it could have been anybody. It didn't matter who it was. That's what it came down. That crowd on that night just wanted to chant for SmackDown Live, and they lived it through Charlotte Flair as she beat the ever-living piss out of Ronda Rousey.
That's about how you put it. Beat the ever-living piss out of
and that's really all. And that's really all it comes down to. Everybody wants to make a lot more out of this than it was. Oh, they were cheering for Charlotte because she got the endorsement from Becky Lynch. No,
they were cheering for the brand.
Were fucking cheering Charlotte. You fucking morons.
It
was more about that crowd was so fucking annoyed with everything WWE force-fed them that night, with shoving the Raw brand supremacy down their fucking throats to the point where everybody in the audience wanted to puke. By the time somebody from SmackDown was actually doing something, they were fucking all about it.
Yeah.
If this match would have opened the show and Charlotte would have done that to Ronda at the beginning, I bet your crowd would have booed her.
Yeah.
But the crowd was so pissed off and annoyed by that point in the show, they were just like, yeah, fuck yeah, SmackDown, baby. SmackDown, beat Ronda's ass. And that's really all it was about. The thank you, Charlotte chant wasn't as much about destroying Ronda as it was about finally getting some, vindication for SmackDown over Raw.
Do you think this was going to be the end result of Rousey and Lynch?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am 150% certain that finish we saw on Sunday night was the exact same finish we would have gotten had this match been Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey.
I think the same thing.
No, I think you're exactly right, Matt, with what you're saying. But at the same time, I think it is part of doing it for Becky is why she got cheered too. I think it has a part of it. I think that's part of the pop. She did the Becky switch. She did the switch to went totally crazy and beating the shit out of Ronda. People loved it. It wasn't just because I was looking all over social media during this thing, and this wasn't a Raw person got beat up. No, this was Charlotte flipping a switch, and it was fun to see. I think people weren't expecting it, and people saw this as the same switch as Becky had flipped, and the crowd, I bet, was 50-50 with that. But a lot of the people I saw on social media, it was just that switch that she hit. It wasn't the fact that SmackDown was beating up on Raw at this point.
I agree with both of you, and here's why. Matt, you're absolutely correct. That shit was force-fed. It's no way in hell that Raw should have won as many matches as they did, and that match was perfect timing, and what happened was perfect timing. But I think also what you're touching on, JB, is the fact that you got to remember too. Every time Ronda cut a promo on Monday Night Raw leading up to that match, what was the crowd cheering? Becky. And then
because Becky is above and beyond
right.
every
Absolutely.
woman on that roster right
Absolutely. So when and even what was the first match on the pay-per-view?
now.
The women's match.
They're
Yep.
chanting
When
for
when Nia came out,
Boom.
what did that fucking crowd do? They booed her out the fucking
They buried her.
Absolutely. They wanted Becky. So with that's what I say. I agree with both of you. So with that ass whooping was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I think the crowd would have chanted more if Charlotte would have came out and beating the shit out of Nia Jax.
Oh,
That's true.
anybody that was hitting Nia Jax in that match was the biggest babyface.
But I think that match would have. I think that match, if that were Becky, it would have been the same result. Simply because I don't think that Vince WWE period was ready to watch Ronda Rousey lose, for one,
Oh,
and
no, I
two,
agree.
and two, the build up, the point, or the where Becky Lynch is right now at this point in her career, at this juncture in her career right now, for her to lose clean did nothing for her. It would have been just absolute total bullshit. So if she would have won or lost, disqualification, or lost in the same manner that Charlotte did, it would have been perfect. It would have hurt. It would have hurt neither one of them.
I will say something about the WWE audience in 2018, which is completely different than I would say any WWE audience that I've seen in my entire lifetime of being a fan. The current WWE audience loves to see badass women kicking ass.
Absolutely.
And that kind of shit is connecting with this crowd more so than anything else on the roster right now, male or female. If you're getting a badass woman talking shit on the mic and backing it up in the ring, the fans are eating that up. People are all about that right now.
It's easy
and
to
Charlotte channeled, no offense, Charlotte channeled her inner Becky Lynch on Sunday.
She did.
And the crowd ate it up. Because that's what they want to see. That's what this audience wants to see from their women right now. They're tired of
divas.
Yes, exactly. The diva era is so dead. It's not even funny at this point.
From your Charlottes to your Beckys to your Shaynas to your Kyries to Oscars. I mean, shit. The women are real. They are real.
Doesn't it feel like just before the Attitude Era, these people, the women and some guys as baby faces are getting unbearable, and it's not until they actually get some cool factor to them, is when people are starting to care about them.
Yeah, they have to embrace their own personality.
Yeah, and well. Once we get
the problem, I was just explaining to somebody the other day. The problem is Vince has a hold on certain personalities. Like, you come into the WWE or you come to the main roster and you say, "Oh, okay, I want to be this." All right, Vince is like, "I don't like it."
Yeah.
And
if Mustafa Ali got called up to the main roster, he would immediately put him with Jinder Mahal.
Facts, because that's the stereotype.
Yep, that's what Vince lives for.
You know what I mean? You look back at let's go back in the day, the Attitude Era, to Stone Cold. That's what Stone Cold was. He was a redneck beer drinking asshole. Stone Cold, that's what he was. The Rock was a cocky shit talking narcissist. Shawn Michaels was a cocky dickhead. That's what he was. And that's what made the Attitude Era what it is. You fast forward to 2018, and you see the talent embracing what they are or what they can be. They're tapping into their own personalities, and it's money.
Yeah, and what they've got with Becky and Ronda right now, there is no better time to have the women main event WrestleMania than this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think from everything I'm hearing, they're doing it. So
last match,
I think it's awesome.
Last match of the evening, Daniel Bryan against Brock Lesnar. This I'm starting to like this new Daniel Bryan a little more. But I loved when he did the Lesnar, what do you call it? The Lesnar dance. Let's just call it the Lesnar
his little
dance.
bounce.
Yeah.
Lesnar bounce.
I think the beatdown went a little too long because I thought, oh, this is all we're getting is this beatdown of Daniel Bryan. This is crown jewel punishment. He's gonna get smoked. But so maybe if they shaved 5 minutes off that beatdown, it would have been a more enjoyable match. But I'll tell you what, though, after Daniel Bryan started getting the upper hand, it turned into a great match, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
You're absolutely correct. Like you said, it did get a little long-winded for him tossing Daniel Bryan. I actually was scared for Daniel Bryan considering the concussions and everything.
That first German didn't look like a good landing.
Not at all, but overall, it was a good match. Like,
it kind of makes you wonder if that's that Lesnar's like, you know what? Let's go belly to belly for this next one.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, the only thing Lesnar did to him that really made me cringe was that first clothesline where he caught him on the side of the head.
Yeah.
That to me, that was worse than any suplex he threw for him on Sunday.
Bryan just landed weird on that first suplex.
And what is with Brock Lesnar being the only pay-per-view he's willing to do anything at a Survivor Series?
Yeah, because him and AJ had a great match.
It's been 3 freaking years in a row now, and he had the thing with Goldberg the year before too.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's the only pay-per-view he's willing to do anything is fucking Survivor Series.
But it's certain people that he's willing to do that'll allow him to do it with. True. AJ will sell, Daniel Bryan will sell, Goldberg will sell.
But on the same token, Lesnar's going to sell for all 3 of those guys too.
Absolutely, because I swear to God, that's the most I've seen Brock Lesnar sell Sunday.
Yeah, I thought he sold. I thought he sold just as much for Bryan as he did for Styles last year.
He did.
I felt it was. I felt the match was very, very similar to last year, with Brock getting all the offense at the beginning, then AJ turning the tide for a little bit, and making you think that he had a shot to win, and the match was a lot closer than Brock won at the end. Like, to me, it was, and I feel like that's probably another reason why they decided to let Bryan win the title on Tuesday. Was because they were planning to have the exact same fucking match on Sunday with AJ and Brock that they had the year before, and they're like, let's try to freshen it up a little bit,
right?
By putting Bryan in the spot instead.
So as we always do after Takeover's pay-per-views, we put the poll up on the Twitter to grade the pay-per-views, and
this ought to be interesting.
Takeover, thanks to everybody that voted on both polls. Takeover, 84% of you gave it an A. 84%.
That's really high for our audience.
12% gave it a B. 4% gave it a C. Not a single soul gave it a D or F.
Gave a Takeover a C? That?
I know.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah.
Survivor Series. The leading vote getter, D or F.
How high was the percent?
41.
Wow. That's about right.
My vote was a C, which was 31% second place. I gave it a C. 22% gave it a B. 6% gave it an A. So 78% difference on the A rating from Takeover to Survivor Series. 84% on Saturday, 6% on Sunday. Wow,
that's funny as fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go into some headlines. Let's talk about the best thing going in wrestling today. The man Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch, in response to the ass whooping that Charlotte gave to Ronda at Survivor Series, and Becky said, "You want some avocado toast? Make you feel better."
I don't get the whole avocado toast thing.
Then she got into it with Chris Jericho.
That shit was funny.
Jericho said, "Congrats WWE for making women's wrestling the hottest thing in WWE. Who's headlining WrestleMania? Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, #Nia, #Charlotte." Becky goes, "Nope, that's me." He goes, "Yeah, for sure, with an assist to Nia Jax for breaking your face, and then the best comeback ever." Becky Lynch goes, the sucker punch drew blood for sure. Little known fact, though, I actually got a concussion from trying to listen to your last album.
Ouch.
And Bully Ray had the greatest GIF response to that comeback.
Boom.
Man, that was the man. And if you look at where she's from on Twitter, it says Inside Ronnie's Head. It used to be the man, or her title on Twitter was The Man Inside Ronnie's Head. Now it's just back to The Man, but her location is Inside Ronnie's Head.
Oh my!
I love her.
We go from
How could you not?
We go from the man to the douche. Enzo
The
Amore.
douche.
Enzo
Wow,
Amore.
that's a little harsh.
He's a douche. I met the guy and he was cool, but he's
So how can you sit here and say he's a douche?
Well, I met him like.
He met him before he was the douche.
Yeah, I met him when he was
Nah,
still in NXT.
I think this guy's always been this way.
Yeah. Though he was, I mean, he wasn't a douche when he hung out for a few minutes and talked in Orlando and at a bar. So, you know, I thought he was cool then, at least.
Yeah. So come on, be a little more respectful.
All right, so he's still a certified G and a bona fide stud.
He looks like he's been a certified douche lately, though, because he was forced to.
Back to the name. Just right back to the name, Colin.
Like you don't call people names on this show.
Well, I do when they deserve it.
I think Enzo deserves it.
I disagree.
It kicked off a Delta flight for refusing to stop vaping.
He says it wasn't him.
Was it me? And then of course, as we said, he showed up at Survivor Series wearing a ridiculous wig and a hood. And
Ridiculous or hilarious?
I don't know, man.
I'm going with hilarious.
And then he gets ejected from Survivor Series. And Mike Johnson goes, yeah, for those who are wondering, that was not planned by the WWE.
Not even a little bit.
I jokingly go, is this a work? I was laughing on the inside, but yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, and apparently you can't vape inside Staples Center either, Enzo says.
Yes, that was a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Ratings, Total Divas gets their second highest rating of the year, only 412,000, but hey, it's still 4 times what Impact's drawing.
No one cares. No one cares. No one cares.
Impact fell back down to 101,000 as Pop's trying to make it obsolete.
Oh, darn.
And Monday Night
Yeah,
Raw.
Can you hear the disappointment in our voice?
I know. And Monday Night Raw, even though there was a killer fucking Monday night game on, Monday Night Raw actually gained some viewership and just fell short of 2.5 million. Holy shit! How awesome!
I
was
thought
that?
they were going to get decimated in the ratings. That Monday Night Football game was fucking awesome.
That was awesome. 2 9-1.
Well, I mean, as long as you like offense, if you're a defensive fan, you probably hated the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah,
but
defensive
if you're a fan of high scoring offense games, damn dude, that
Is
was
it bad that I didn't watch either?
back and forth.
Oh shit! You didn't see the game on Monday?
Dude, I watched the Sixers, man.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
We won. Shut up.
No, I mean I'm sorry to hear you didn't see the game.
I don't want to see
I'm
that
sorry about
mess.
the Sixers.
Neither one of them are going to win the Super Bowl anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Saints are going out of the NFC. We already know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we saw what the Saints did this week. I mean,
Hey, shut the hell up.
I just need the Chiefs. I just need the Chiefs to keep losing, so we can get the #1 seed, and all roads can lead to the Berg, and we can get that 7th ring and put it on our middle finger and tweet it to Le'Veon Bell. Suck it.
So we can make Pennsylvania the greatest state of football.
You damn right.
Damn right.
Right.
Announced by Funko.
You don't even know what to say. You don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, and with that, let's just move on.
Yeah,
Let's move
Big
on.
Ben's really gonna. Yeah, no, probably not. James Conner's legs are gonna fall off.
Yeah, you keep dreaming over there, pal.
The Bears 7-3. Thank you.
Shut up with your Bears. They're gonna choke the playoffs like they always do.
Funko released that coming soon a Ronda Rousey pop is going to be coming out, and well, Becky Lynch responded, "I already own Ronda Rousey." I did not see that tweet until I saw the story. Oh, Becky, you were so good. Miz, he says, "I told you so," and Matt's going to say, "I told you so" as well. In regards to last week's podcast, Miz on Twitter, I told you how Daniel Bryan really was. You chose to ignore me, but I told who the real Daniel Bryan was, but you chose to boo me. And now, after manipulating his way into the title match after title match after title match, the true colors of Daniel Bryan are finally on display. Was I right all along? Yes. 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 As Matt said, the Miz.
Like, all right, look, I told y'all last week this was what the route he was going to go. I'm just saying. People got to listen to me, man. That's all I'm saying.
The ass kissing of Shane McMahon is getting weird, though.
Yeah,
Dude, but you can't tell me for 1 minute anything he did on SmackDown tonight made him come off looking like a heel.
No,
not at all.
He was acting babyface on Survivor Series on all the backstage segments. That was where the ass kissing began with Shane McMahon.
That was kind of creepy, though.
It's getting weird. Starrcade is this weekend. It is going to be live on Saturday from the I think in Green. Is it
Cincinnati.
It's in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, it's not going to air live on the WWE Network, but there will be an hour special Sunday evening at 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
I ain't wasting my time watching a 1 fucking hour special.
Yeah.
Why advertise it if you're not going to show the whole fucking show?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
1 hour special. They're on fucking drugs.
On the card, Rollins and Ambrose for the IC title in a street fight. Strowman and Corbin. Joe and Styles in a cage match. Nakamura and Mysterio for the U.S. title. The Bar against the New Day for the tag titles. Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre. Miz against Rusev. A special concert with Elias and Ric Flair. Also appearing Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Dolph Ziggler. So, here's something we can talk about. Cody Rhodes, according to Mike Johnson, confirms he's departing Ring of Honor, as Cody Rhodes put a tweet out there on the 15th of November, 5 days ago. Jay was the first match I had in Ring of Honor 2 years ago. He will be my last, and I will take the World Championship into free agency.
It's a work.
And I think Matt's coughing there. You all right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are those cough drops working for you?
I'm chewing some gum. I'm gonna have a little bit of water right now.
Is that water?
I'll be all right.
Is the water working for you? Is there anything else you need that may work for you?
Some good water. It's good water, Essentia, man.
Is that work? Is that work branded water?
No, it's Essentia. Overachieving H2O. It's very good water.
So what we're basically saying is, yeah, right.
I don't believe for 1 second that he's departing Ring of Honor. And to me, if he's departing Ring of Honor, he does not announce on the internet, of all places, that he is departing Ring of Honor. This is the same guy who 48 hours before All In said, stop looking for a payoff to the Flip Gordon storyline. Sometimes things just don't play out like you think they're going to. This dude loves to work people. It's part of the thing. It's part of what he does that he enjoys. Mm-hmm. He's not going to freaking give away their hand right now. But I don't think he's leaving Ring of Honor. I really don't.
He did the same thing when he first signed with Ring of Honor.
Yeah. It makes complete sense for the Elite to leave New Japan and sign with Ring of Honor. They'll be home with their families a lot more. They'll be exclusive to Ring of Honor. Maybe do some other independent. Oh, they'll do a lot of other independent stuff like PWG, I'm assuming. But yeah, it just makes complete sense that the Elite's all going to be together on Ring of Honor. Because otherwise they'd have to buy out Marty if they were going somewhere else, and they're all still sticking together.
Marty has never been named in the group that's sticking together next year. They've never named Marty. And they can't
haven't?
name Marty because Marty's contractually obligated that he can't.
So that's why they can't.
He
Name
can't be named with them. And if they name Marty there, then they're automatically giving away what they're choosing.
So
to do.
is that why he wasn't in the ring at the end of All In then?
No, he wasn't in the ring at the end of All In because the dude was in the fucking shower and didn't realize they were doing a curtain call after the match was over.
Oh. This could be the start of the exodus from Impact Wrestling. Former X Division and Tag Champion Trevor Lee has departed Impact Wrestling. Several sources have told Mike Johnson at PW Insider he is NXT bound.
That's not at all surprised.
Very talented guy out of North Carolina. Closely worked with the Hardys, I believe, in developmental, didn't he? Like as he was kind of
worked with the Hardys and Cedric Alexander.
Yeah. And Trevor Lee's former tag partner, Andrew Everett, he's he's also a former Impact star. I didn't realize he left too, but he'll make his debut for Major League Wrestling in their December tapings coming up, and will be a regular for MLW going forward.
I hear ACH is
Yep, I was going to talk about that later.
NXT bound as well.
Oh, where's it at?
I hear somebody else is WWE bound too.
Let me go find it here. Let me go find it here. Nope, that ain't it.
Okay, well, Daryl, while he's going to look for that, who did you hear? Who did you hear is coming?
He's the last real man.
I actually have heard that too. His deal's up at the end of the year.
Yep.
So
I've heard actually.
That's a weird sign of bringing Cower Power into NXT.
He does look like Bill Cower.
He totally looks like Bill Cower. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
He looks like Bill Cower if Bill Cower hit the weight room.
Is he an older guy too, or does he just look old?
He just looks old.
That is a great question. How old is he?
Silas is probably like our age, man. He's
I
like
would say he's late 30s.
Yeah, he's like 36, 37.
He is exactly Silas Young is exactly 17 days younger than me. Or he's exactly 17 days older than me.
All right, motherfucker. The listeners don't know how old you are, so how about you tell us?
39. He'll be 40.
He'll
be 40 next August.
And then,
look, and you can't say that's too old because they signed Bobby Roode around the same age when they brought him in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, back in the day, you didn't really start getting the push till you were 35, 36.
A lot of wrestlers don't even hit their prime until they're in their mid 40s back in the day.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people think that's old now, but I really don't think it's as old as people want to make it out to be.
But I hear Kazarian and Daniels' contract is up too.
A lot of people's contracts are up.
That's you.
So,
Mm.
Did you see SCU get the trainer whistles from Triple H?
Yeah.
I didn't watch Being the Elite yet so I need to.
Well, spoiler: H gave Daniels and Kazarian whistles and talked about them being coaches down at the Performance Center. So.
Is Adam Page still freaking out and making lists?
Yeah, Page is still freaking out.
Page always freaks out.
Marty tried to invite Cody to his New Year's party, and
New Year's Day party.
Cody was spouting off WWE facts with his glazed over stare in his eyes, and Marty got pissed off. It was fucking hilarious.
SmackDown Live is the second longest running episodic television in history. It's been on longer than shows like Gunsmoke and.
It's so fucking good, dude. I love Being the Elite.
Oh, it's awesome.
See, that honestly, one of the main reasons I don't want them to go to WWE is not only because I'm afraid of what Vince would do to them overall. I don't want to fucking lose that show.
That's why I don't think they're leaving.
No, I do not want to lose Being the Elite. Like, losing that show would break my fucking heart.
I totally believe they're going to Ring of Honor or staying Ring of Honor. They're leaving New Japan.
Between them losing Being the Elite and Vince taking over the money that they make off of the merch that they have, it's no way in hell they're leaving Ring of Honor.
It'd be almost I don't know about taking a pay cut, but
pretty much.
They do make a lot of money.
Look, they've already positioned themselves to make more money off their merch by breaking away from the Bullet Club.
Yep.
I mean, the whole idea about becoming the Elite was not only for the fact that they could own the rights to that name.
They have their own brand.
For the fact that they're like any money that they make off the elite merchandise is theirs. It's not New Japan's or anybody else's. It all goes straight to those guys.
Yep.
So it just makes sense to break away from that name if New Japan's being greedy with the money, which is clearly seemingly what's going on right now. But apparently a lot of people over there aren't happy right now with the new management of New Japan over the last 5 to 6 months. It's not sounding very promising, to be perfectly honest. I'm a little worried about the future of New Japan in 2019 with the way things are going. They might lose a lot of talent, and that really wouldn't be good for them. So,
I mean, that might be a good thing for Ring of Honor, though.
Well, dude, Ring of Honor needs the Ring of Honor under no circumstances can let these guys get away.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, man, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, if only NXT was, something even bigger than it is now. You could see it maybe being something for the elite to go into to start. But, no, right now as it is today, they'd have to be the remaining roster. Vince is there. He'll fuck it up, so...
But here's the question for you both,
Vince,
guys.
Fucking shut up.
With the situation, with the situation going on in New Japan,
bitches.
Do you and
well, there's already talk of Naito coming to WWE next year.
Don't do that to my life, please don't.
It's not happening.
Please don't.
I already fucking told you, and you reported this bullshit story to me already, JB, that Naito was offered a deal and he turned it down. He ain't coming to WWE.
Please don't do that to my life. Like I'm 36 years old and I don't not need to go into cardiac arrest.
I'd like to see him to come in and just punch Almas in the mouth.
Why? Why would you just do such a thing?
He still holds
because he's still in his gimmick.
He gave it to him.
Oh, bullshit. He doesn't deserve to have that gimmick.
He gave it to Naito.
No, he didn't.
Rush and Almas gave it to Naito. What do you mean?
I don't believe you.
Do your homework, dude. CMLL. Naito went to CMLL.
Do your homework, dude.
I've had so much time to watch CMLL on top of every other wrestling program that I have to watch on a weekly basis. Yes, let me get out my CMLL certification of knowledge and bestow it upon you. No, that's not going to happen. I've never watched an episode of CMLL in my life, and I probably never will.
You know what? That's why you're my third favorite Matt behind Matt Riddle and Matt Taven.
Did he just drop to 3, or has he always been 3?
No, he was 2.
Ooh, he just dropped.
Whoa.
He just dropped.
Well, how do I get back? How do I become number 1?
Man, he's like Randy Orton getting ranked 9th on the SmackDown Top 10. That was so stupid, and they realized after they put that out, it was so fucking stupid that they quit talking about it. Matt's like, give it a chance, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Go back and check the tapes.
Everyone already knows Matt Taven is the best. Matt Taven is number 1.
He's the best Matt Taven that I know. Yeah, you're right. He's the best Matt Taven that I know. Yeah, he's the number 1 pro wrestler named Matt Taven. Yeah.
I hate you.
All right, back.
See, as much as he's burying him, I'm not saying a word. How can I not move back up the ranks?
My name ain't Matt. and you're not the super king of bros, bro.
I've been saying bro long before Matt Riddle said bro.
A lot of people have been saying bro longer than Matt Riddle's been saying
I've been broing for forever. As long as Daryl knows me, Daryl knows.
No, he has. Matt, for everyone on Lost in the Midcard, let's just get it out there. Matt Black used to be my supervisor at GameStop.
Bro, you're really gonna give him that discount, bro?
But let me ask you this though. Serious question. What happens with Kenny Omega?
Well, he's going wherever everybody else is going.
Yeah, his deal's up.
So does he drop the title? Does he drop the title and go to Ring of Honor and strictly be Ring of Honor?
He'll drop it at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing Tanahashi hold the title for the upteenth millionth time.
It's just like John Cena holding the title again.
Yeah, dude, as much as people want to get on WWE about the constant pushes of Roman Reigns and John Cena, New Japan does the exact same thing with Okada and Tanahashi.
I'm
it's the exact same damn thing. And I never understand the New Japan fans that are strictly New Japan and anti-WWE that act like WWE
They got their
does
blinders
everything wrong and New Japan does everything right when New Japan makes the exact same mistakes that WWE makes.
Yeah, they got their blinders. They got their blinders on that.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. Like, I love all wrestling. Honestly, if I could watch every brand of pro wrestling, I could. If I had enough free time every day to watch every single thing of pro wrestling that I can get my eyeballs on, I would watch it because it's wrestling and it's because I love it. But there's not enough hours in the day anymore, to watch everything. Mm-hmm. But the things I don't understand the people who are anti promotions. You just love pro wrestling. If you're not a fan of Impact, you're not a fan of CMLL or Lucha Underground or whatever, that's cool. But you don't got to hate on it. You don't have to bash it every chance you get. Because hell, maybe if you sat down and watched it, maybe you'd actually like it. Yeah, I just don't understand why everybody can't just be, wrestling fans together. If that makes sense.
Because you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, you ain't wrong there. You ain't wrong there. Lots of stupid in this world.
After that 20-minute detour.
Fuck you, pal.
PW Insider.
I'm gonna kick this dude in the dick.
PW Insider is noting that there's gonna be a new class coming in January, and one of those guys that is possibly in the strong interest category for joining that class this January is ACH, former Ring of Honor and New Japan star. Currently, recently been in Major League Wrestling, teaming with Rich Swann. 30 years old, broke into the business in Texas, and of course, if you watched Ring of Honor, he's pretty damn good. So,
ACH versus Ricochet.
Oh boy,
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here for JB's inability to tell time, but I'm here for I'm here for that.
Jim Ross clarified about his departure from Access TV. Has nothing to do with New Japan or the network. It's just his contract is up and unable to legally negotiate a new arrangement.
Because he's under a WWE contract until March.
By God.
That's why.
And also, poor Jim Ross, fucking brutal fall. His face looked like Ronda Rousey after Survivor Series.
He got fucked up bad, man.
Yeah, that was horrible.
As he put it, took a bad bump. The concrete went over. Concrete always goes over when you take a bump on it.
The good thing is, dude, at least the man could have a sense of humor about it. Because honestly, if that happened to me, I would not be laughing.
Oh, yeah. That looked brutal.
He'll still be at WrestleCade this week.
Dude, that dude's a warrior, man.
An update on our favorite famous dick wrestler, Joey Ryan. He is
your favorite famous dick wrestler. I don't give a shit about Joey Ryan.
Who's your favorite dick wrestler?
I don't have a favorite dick wrestler. Dick Murdoch. How about that? There's my favorite dick wrestler.
Dick Slater, Dirty Dick Slater. Just because his nickname was Dirty Dick.
You would like the Dirty Dick.
Joey Ryan.
Can you guys stop saying Dick?
Shut up, Dick. Joey Ryan, famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan, says the MRI revealed that he has an acute tear in his left pectoral muscle, and he will have to have surgery on that torn pec. So, famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan is going to be out for a while.
Whatever.
Just came back to life. What the fuck?
I know. Well, he hasn't been on being the elite since, so he's still technically killed off there. WWE has announced they're going to do a super show in Mexico City. Hopefully, the field conditions will not allow them to move this to Los Angeles.
Wow, what a dick move by JB right there.
How's that a dick?
That was a dick thing to say.
Shade.
Announced for the Super Show: AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, no DQ. Ronda Rousey against Nia Jax.
I never want to see that match again unless Samoa Joe beats AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so over. I was so excited when they started that feud in WWE, and I'm at the point now, like, enough. I'm done.
Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Nakamura, Mysterio. I mean, basically, this is what you're going to see at Starrcade, except Charlotte Flair, Mandy Rose, Elias against Lashley, Rusev against Almas, New Day against the Colognes. But a lot of that is what you're going to see on Starrcade this weekend. So it's all house shows. So okay.
Whatever.
The WrestleMania debut action figure for Ronda Rousey is going to be coming out from Mattel very soon, as well as Ultimate Warrior from Halloween Havoc '98. Is that the one where Hogan was seeing shit in the mirror and thinking it was Warrior?
That was the build. That was the build up to it. Yes, but that was the pay per view where Hogan threw a fireball in Warrior's face.
Yep.
That whole segment was weird with Hogan. Announced for the
Speaking of pissing his pants, didn't Hogan piss his pants that night?
He might have.
Sure. Yep.
When Warrior came out the first time, didn't Hogan piss his pants or some shit?
I thought you were dead, brother.
Oh, God.
Also coming, the Elite 68 will be featuring King Mabel, the American Badass Undertaker, and Kevin Owens. And in the Retro Series, Iron Sheik, Braun Strowman, Zack Ryder, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe. Retro Series, what the?
The Retro Series, it's referenced in the fact that they are built under the same body type that the old Hasbro figures were made out of.
Not the fancier, Elite.
Not retro as in old school, but retro as in like you remember the old Hasbro figures? They were about 4 to 5 inches tall, and they all had like the little action things. And they did like little moves, they swung their bodies around or had a sprint in their body, and they jumped up in the air and stuff. That's what they are. They're just their
kung fu grip.
Yeah, they're mimics of the old Hasbro figures.
Gotcha.
Zack Ryder is very excited to be getting his own
I bet.
Hasbro figure.
He's got his own WWE YouTube show now.
It's very funny.
I haven't been able to catch it yet, but what do you think about this death match between Nick Gage and David Arquette?
Jesus.
Okay, you know when I said earlier about all wrestling's okay and everybody should like all wrestling? Maybe I spoke too soon because I fucking hate that deathmatch wrestling shit. And I've given it a chance and I've watched it, and I think it's ridiculous. I think the risk that these people are doing to their bodies is absolutely fucking insane. The light tube in wrestling should be absolutely banned. It's nothing to do with the fact that you're cracking it over somebody and it explodes. The problem is, and Bully Ray has made this quite clear over the years, and I can't believe people still do it after he's explained this, that dust that comes up in the air when those light tubes break, it's not really dust, it's particles of glass.
Yeah.
And you can legitimately breathe that stuff in and fuck up your entire lungs and your insides by breathing in these shards of glass off of these pipe tubes explosions. So, I mean, doing this kind of stuff and putting your body and your long-term health at risk for, I guarantee you, not a whole hell of a lot of money, comparable to what you're going to be making in WWE to be doing much safer work. That deathmatch stuff is, to me, is disgusting and should not be paid for or watched by anybody.
Arquette says, I knew it was violent and potentially bloody, but I truly did not know the extent of what I was participating in.
Dumbass.
That cutter he put on Gage was pretty sweet looking, though. I'll give him that.
He's had some decent matches over the last couple months. The last thing the dude needed to do was step into a fucking death match.
You can cut out the Jay Lethal to WWE rumors. He has re-signed with Ring of Honor. Deal is set to expire at the end of the year.
Yeah, that sounds like a broken record.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So Jay Lethal, don't think there's any details on the length. I'm going to guess a year.
Is it just me, and I want Daryl's opinion on this?
Mm-hmm.
Is Jay Lethal afraid to sign with WWE? Is he afraid to go there and fail? Because to me, it seems like he's just comfortable in his own little Ring of Honor bubble right now, and I feel like he's done everything there is to do for him within Impact and Ring of Honor and everywhere else, and I feel he's afraid to go to WWE and fail. What are your thoughts on that?
He did everything there was to do 2 years ago.
I would agree with that.
I think that it is that because I'll say this. If you listen to Jay Lethal on Colt Cabana's podcast a couple years back, he mentioned that he mentioned his run with Impact, how he did his thing with Ric Flair, his impression of Ric Flair, and also his run as Black Machismo, how he does a bunch of impressions.
So he's afraid he's going to be stuck in a comedy gimmick, basically.
Pretty much, and that's how Vince operates. Vince will pretty much put him in this whole shtick where he'll just be pretty much pure comedy, similar to what R-Truth is doing right now. And Jay Lethal's not about that.
No.
I think
there's only some people that can pull that off.
Right. And
and R-Truth is one of them.
Right. And I think Jay Lethal can pull it off too, but Jay Lethal's not that guy.
Well, here's the thing. This stuff Truth's doing is keeping him relevant in wrestling, where Lethal doesn't need to lean on that to keep him relevant at this time. Obviously, Truth is 47. He's not going to do flips off a ladder and hurt his body. He's keeping himself relevant by being in front of the camera and providing comedy relief, not performing in the ring every night. So
you gotta look at the comparison. Truth right now that's what he's doing right now. But if you look at the other side of what Truth is doing, Truth is trying to be a rapper as well.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to see a 47-year-old rapper.
That's why he disappeared from the WWE for so long, because he was working.
Right.
Dude, that guy's been trying to be a rapper for as long as I've known he's been a wrestler.
Absolutely, but you look at Jay Lethal.
I'm sorry, Truth. It's not going to happen for you, buddy.
Right, and Vince knows how to tap into that. You look at Jay Lethal on the other side, where Jay Lethal, on the other end, Jay Lethal has his own wrestling school. Jay Lethal is an actual pure wrestler, but on the other end, he has personality. He can do the impressions. He can be pure comic relief. And I think he thinks that Vince will pretty much tap into that more than his actual wrestling skills.
So he's probably just waiting for him to get out of the way, which hopefully
pretty much. And I think Triple H will pretty much use him to, I think he would, if I were Triple H or if I were running WWE, I would sign Jay Lethal and be like, hey, let's bring Jay Lethal in to train in the Performance Center. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This time a year from now, I highly expect Jay Lethal going into 2020 is going to be in the WWE. We're getting closer to XFL. Vince is going to be gone from the WWE.
Only if the XFL becomes successful.
Yep.
If this is a one and done flop again, Vince is going to be right back in the thick of things. The XFL actually needs to launch, and unlike the last time, it actually needs to be successful to lure Vince away from this company.
But leading up to it, he's going to be gone a lot. So 2019.
Initially, he's going to be gone.
Yeah. A lot of 2019, I bet he's going to be focused more on XFL than WWE.
I hope you're right, man. But I don't see him really digging deep into that until it's a success.
I kind of agree with JB. I think he's.
I hope you're right. Nobody wants him gone more than me.
Yeah, but leading up, I mean, there's so much work to do in 2019 with a February 2020 launch. There's no way he can even think of WWE. He's got to get cities wrangled in. He's got to get deals with stadiums wrangled in. He's
so hands-on.
Yeah, he's going to be busy with XFL in 2019.
I hope you're right. I really do.
We hope so. I mean, at that point in time, Triple H should be like, hey, I'll take care of the majority and go from there. That's what logical thinking is, but we'll see.
I still don't think WWE would have gotten that Fox deal if Vince would have been part of the negotiation process.
No, they wouldn't have. No.
I feel that had a lot to do with Triple H and Stephanie brokering that deal, because I think Vince would have fucked it up.
Well, that's also the fact that Triple H and Stephanie are more in tune with what's going on with the world today, and what's on TV, and what media is doing today. Vince would have thoroughly fucked it all the way up.
What are you talking about, pal?
I mean, I'm just talking about more so the product, like more so negotiation and what to present on TV. If you understand what I'm saying, like
No, I completely get it. I was just doing my Vince voice.
oh,
That he doesn't understand what you're trying to tell him.
okay, fuck you then.
No, not at all. Not at all. If you're a fan of the Nature Boy Ric Flair, he's got a brand new store now on Pro Wrestling Tees, and just in time for Black Friday. Black Friday sale. First 150 online orders get a free shirt. 40% off Pro Wrestling Tees logo merch, 30% off New Japan merch, 20% off everything else. Spend $100, get 5 PW crates, Overstock collectibles. Spend $150, get the 5 PW crates and free worldwide shipping. That's all coming up here on Black Friday. NXT TakeOver War Games. If you wondered if something looked interesting in the crowd there at the Staples Center, it's because the fans were given a light-up LED bracelet to wear. If you noticed, I think specifically in Velveteen Dreams, where the purple lights and such. And so somebody on Twitter had posted there as they were going into TakeOver that they got these bracelets. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of like
It's just Triple H being ahead of the curve.
yeah, I mean arenas do it too. A lot of them are doing with cell phone apps, and where it'll synchronize your camera flash. They do that with the Nebraska Husker basketball games at the arena, and so it's kind of similar to that. Just kind of a cool little addition to the atmosphere and such. It was announced that Survivor Series for 2019 will be held in Chicago, Illinois, and no CM Punk is not signed up here yet.
Lies.
And as I had speculated, once the Fox deal came on, SmackDown on Friday, November 22nd, will kick off the weekend at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, followed by TakeOver the next day. Survivor Series and Raw will close out the 4-day loop on the 25th. It'll be interesting to see if now the go-home show is a little more stacked, maybe a little more interesting now that it's going to be heading live on Friday nights, 2 days before Survivor Series. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how that all plays out in November, because that'll be the literally the first major pay-per-view after the deal takes place in October. So
Matt, JB, Chicago, TakeOver. What do you think?
That's an hour flight.
I've never been to Chicago.
I never have either.
That's a cheap flight for me. I'd be down.
I'd drive. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I could. My car's a piece of shit.
Oh, I'm even more inclined to go if you're driving.
A flight for me will probably cost like $70 each way. So
I will sit in the car with Daryl and we will talk wrestling all the way to Chicago.
That's what we do anyway.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we'd have a lot more time to do it if we're driving to Chicago.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
We go home on Sunday. We go
pretty much.
We go
early enough to get home in time for the bullshit show.
We go to.
Yeah, I got no desire to go to Survivor Series, but I'll go to Take. I would love. That's one of the things I haven't got to do yet as a wrestling fan. I have not got to go to an NXT TakeOver event.
Are you serious?
You weren't at Dallas?
You went to Dallas?
Wow. Total mind fuck. Yeah, I have been to a few takeovers. Never mind.
Jesus.
I want to go to another takeover event. How about that?
It's like I was in Dallas.
I've been to.
I feel like. Now I feel like I've been to.
Nakamura, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I was there, and I feel like I was at another one. Was I at another one?
You went.
Now I need to think about it.
I've been to two takeovers.
31 was a house show. That was not a takeover. I was in for that.
I'm potentially going to the next takeover.
32 was Dallas, right?
Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Girlfriend's
okay, 32 was Dallas. Yeah. Okay, so the only takeover I've ever been to was Dallas.
I did take.
I want to do another one.
I did take over Philly this year, early this year, and I did take over Orlando.
And you didn't invite me.
What?
We got
Son of a bitch.
yeah, the girl.
I thought I was going for the Rumble.
Yeah, my girlfriend's aunt owns a house down in Mesa. So
okay.
There's the hotel. We don't have to pay for that. Flights out of Grand Island, which is like 90 minutes away in central Nebraska, flights out of Allegiant Air are typically $40 to $50 each way.
Hey, where's Money in the Bank next year?
Have they even done a date for that yet?
Do they usually announce Survivor Series before they announce Money in the Bank, or?
Yeah, because it's big. It's big
Oh,
four.
okay.
The big four.
Gotcha. Okay.
2019. All we have is the big four.
Gotcha.
Rumblemania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Gotcha. Okay.
SummerSlam's in Toronto, Mania, New York, Rumble, Phoenix, and of course Survivor. Yeah, that's all that's been announced so far is the big four.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rey Mysterio files an interesting trademark, according to Steve Fernandez at a PW Insider. He applied for the trademark Principe Mysterio, which translates to Prince Mysterio, which is probably going to be for his son, Dominic, when he starts his wrestling career.
Oh, okay.
Principe Mysterio, which translates to Prince Mysterio in English. Yes, for his kid once he starts wrestling.
I'm your papi.
Hey,
Booyaka, booyaka.
Congratulations.
I still remember I was at SummerSlam 05 for the Eddie Mysterio ladder match. And we were sitting by the stage, and they had Dominic out there over by us. And my friend kept yelling at Dominic to turn heel. And I was fucking losing my mind, laughing hysterically.
Was he like 10 at the time? Was he 10 or 12
yeah, dude, he was really young. He had to have been like maybe 10 or 11 at the time. And yeah, my friend kept yelling, "Turn heel, Dominic, turn heel!" And it was fucking great.
Congratulations to the United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne, as he is now a proud papa.
Nice.
Little baby girl.
The Bruiser kid. The Bruiser girl.
The Bruiser girl. His first child, so congrats, Pete. This has already been in jeopardy for a while now, and it still looks like it's in jeopardy. Dana White recently interviewed with TMZ and is unsure if Lesnar-Cormier is going to happen. He's trying to make a Cormier-Jones rematch happen, and Cormier's team is now wanting DC to retire now instead of March. So DC may not fight again. So
I don't think DC wants to go back down to 205 to fight in the light heavyweight division again. I think if he doesn't get the Lesnar fight, I think we might have seen his last fight.
Doesn't make sense for him to go back down.
No, in honest to God, dude, that weight cut, like he even said he normally lives his life at 245 to 250. To make that weight cut down to 205 to defend that title, that's insane. That's not healthy. You know, if everybody on the planet could lose weight like that, you know, it's not natural.
Oh, I used to be a ring announcer for local MMA promotions. I knew people that would sit in a car, heater full blast, wearing 4 hoodies to cut weight. I saw that firsthand.
Yeah, dude, that's shit's insane, man. It's not healthy.
No, it ain't at all. No, the shit people go through, that's not at all.
Yeah, if I'm Cormier, honestly, I know he wants the Lesnar fight. And if he can't get it, and they want him, they drop that 30 to 40 pounds again to fight John Jones. You know he's gonna. He knows in his heart if he fights that fight, he's gonna lose again. Yep. So he'd rather just retire.
Yeah. Because
he can beat Brock. I don't think he could beat John Jones. Yeah, because John Jones has had his number every time those two have stepped in the octagon. And I just don't.
Or no drugs, he can still beat his ass.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He still beats his ass.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like Cormier is like, if I don't get the Lesnar fight, I'm done. And honest to God, if that's the case, I don't blame him one bit.
I I'm seeing so many differing things about this, and Matt, maybe you can set the record straight.
I'll do what I can.
Braun Strowman legit have an elbow problem?
Yes, Braun Strowman has an elbow problem. He's going in for, they believe it to be minor surgery, but they're not going to know 100% sure until they perform the procedure. They think he's going to be back in time for TLC, but if the surgery turns out to be bigger than they thought when they get in there, they have a storyline reasoning why he's not going to be able to make the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
WWE right now feels like they'd rather have him ready for WrestleMania season and miss out on TLC than make him wrestle this match without getting the surgery done first and then losing him for a longer period of time, including, WrestleMania.
Final Battle is coming up upon us here. It's literally less than a month away. It's hard to say. It's hard to believe that December 14th is less than a month away, but it is. As we mentioned, Jay Lethal against Cody in Cody's final scheduled ROH appearance of 2018.
I'm so mad I'm missing that.
Television Championship, Jeff Cobb, Adam Page. Matt Taven against Dalton Castle. Hold on to your penis there, Daryl. And Women of Honor champion Sumi Sakai takes on Madison Rayne, Karen Q, and to be announced, maybe Tennille Dashwood, she going to think she's cleared by then, or?
I don't know how long that surgery is supposed to take.
I wonder who the TBA is. But just added.
I hope it's Mandy Leone.
Just added to that great card. Hold on to your nutsack for this one. Jonathan Gresham against a debuting Zack Sabre Jr.
That's going to be the best match on the fucking card.
Ooh.
What the hell? What the hell is you wanting everybody to hold on to their dicks and balls, man?
Yeah, I said Matt Taven, so
What, you act like Daryl's gay for Matt Taven?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
I'm kidding. I just thought,
Daryl gonna beat your ass when we meet you in Chicago.
yeah, whatever.
Well, first we'll see him. You'll be like, "Hey, Daryl," and Daryl just kicks you right in the dick. You like Daniel Bryan style.
Hey, I mean, it's the common trend of wrestling. Everybody's getting kicked in the ding.
Yeah, dude. It's all about the punch and kick to the balls in 2018, pal.
Like Matt said,
AJ Styles is the poster child.
Yeah, like Matt said on Twitter earlier tonight, it's been a rough year for AJ Styles' nutsack. So
Pretty much, he's not having any more kids anytime soon.
Well, he probably doesn't want any. He has 4. He probably didn't want to. But Zack Sabre Jr., Jonathan Gresham. Ooh, that's gonna be. Ooh. Look out. There we go from that to Monday Night Raw.
That's about accurate.
Yeah.
Can we get through this as quickly as humanly possible?
Oh, we will. Stephanie McMahon, Corey Graves gloating about sweeping SmackDown. And Braun says, well, I'm going to get what I wanted, right? The full-time GM job. And speaking of people that want to get what they want, were promised, here comes Braun Strowman.
I love how you called Baron Corbin Corey Graves.
He did.
They look so much alike.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, close, That's what happens when you read fast.
I just think you're connecting them because Corey has the obsession of verbally sucking Baron Corbin's dick on commentary every week.
I just thought it was a bunch of tattoos.
So obviously Strowman.
JB's so mad at us right now.
Mad? What? I'm not mad. Strowman, of course, was promised getting to beat up Baron Corbin, and also promised Lesnar for the title if he led SmackDown to a win, which he did, or led Raw to a win over SmackDown, which he did. But then Stephanie's like, well, okay, well, here we go. TLC. If Corbin wins, he is a permanent GM. If Strowman wins, he gets to face Lesnar at the Rumble. You think they kind of put this out there too as kind of the back plan of if Strowman ain't healthy enough?
Well, they've already got a plan on who they want to replace Corbin with, so I think their plan is to let, if Strowman comes back in time, Strowman's going to win.
Who's their plan to replace Corbin?
I'm hearing at this point in time Alexa Bliss.
She's like got concussion issues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard she was checked out in LA, and there's still no timeline on her return to the ring right now. It's not like oh my God, she's never gonna get back in the ring.
It's like
at
when
this
it's
point
like when
yet,
it's like
but
when
right
AJ
now it's definitely like
it's like when
It's just
AJ was the GM.
precautionary.
yeah, it's totally precautionary.
It's like when AJ was the GM. It wasn't going to be permanent. So then we got an elimination match because you can't get enough elimination matches around Survivor Series. Strowman, Balor, and Elias took on Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley. And no surprise, it was 3-on-1. And then they beat the holy fuck out of Strowman, didn't they?
They beat the dog shit out of my man.
Don't ask me.
Oh yeah, he's not watching. Matt's not watching her on. Well, I mean, just in case you watch the highlights on YouTube, Matt.
I watch the highlights on shit that I actually give a fuck about.
Lashley.
This was not one of those things.
Lashley was tied a belt to Strowman's arm, held it out while Corbin used the steel steps to shatter his elbow.
Oh no!
He couldn't feel his hand.
I guess you're only going to be able to get one of these hands.
You're going to get these hand.
You're gonna get this hand.
Get this hand. I always just say these hand. Just completely grammatically incorrect.
Why the fuck not?
Why the fuck not? Rollins comes out after that. Gives a shout out to the crowd. Get to the crowd being great. He gave a shout out to Takeover being great because, well, it was. And he talks about the Shield and Dean Ambrose and says Dean's been doing a lot of hiding, and now that they got the match at TLC, well, I'm feeling a little aggressive right now. Ambrose, why don't you come to the ring? And Ambrose shows up on the video wall, and he's somewhere in the Staples Center, and says, well, why don't you come find me? So that led to a cat and mouse chase with Ambrose and Rollins, which I thought was actually, I kind of enjoyed it, especially when he's just...
That's pretty good.
Yeah, especially when he's like walking in the back.
While he's doing an interview.
Yeah. And then Titus gets his camera. So, oh, I saw Ambrose over there. But yeah, I think I've been waiting for Ambrose to turn heel and see what he does with it. So far, I like it. Daryl, you agree?
Yeah, he's doing very well with it. Like I actually like the whole storyline so far.
Yeah, I love the promo he did with the outside of the car out in the parking lot last week, and I think it's clear that he could be an amazing heel. So.
Mm-hmm.
The Lars Sullivan vignette airs. Yeah, he's going to Raw, so Vince could oil himself up.
Pretty much.
Alexa Bliss joins the announce team for a tag match. Hey, look, tag match of women.
Yeah, we haven't seen enough of those lately.
Nia Jax, Tamina took on Banks and Bailey, and this ended with Jax and Tamina going over, of course, because Jax is the number one contender. And, and LA still hates her, as well as anybody that loves the man.
It'll be so great to see freaking Nia Jax get buried.
Oh, it's coming. Was it you that said that? It's like somebody was like, oh, why don't they just bury her now? And it's like, that's not how Vince works.
No, it's never been how Vince works. If you go back and watch the history of Vince, whenever Vince is pissed off at somebody, if they're in the midst of a push or storyline or whatever, he lets that shit play out. Mm-hmm. He lets everybody forget about it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the hammer drops.
Pretty much.
And that's exactly what's going to happen to Jax. He's going to let this ride out for a couple weeks or a month or whatever, but when he sees fit, he's going to drop the hammer on her ass, and she going to be buried. It's going to be great.
After that, we got the stupid piss jokes with everybody in catering.
I'm so done with all of this immature potty humor.
Did you watch that at all or no?
I unfortunately saw it.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. The one where he said you're in trouble and
well, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on, right?
It was hilarious.
I hate all of you.
You don't got to get pissed about it, Matt. For some reason, the Lucha House Party jobbed the Revival in 3 minutes.
Wait, who won?
Lucha
The
House
Lucha
Party
House Party,
they beat the
dude.
Revival in 3 minutes.
Oh, Lord.
Say yeah.
Say job.
Pretty much.
Talk about people that would beg to go back to NXT right now.
The Ascension. Actually, they're getting kind of a push lately, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely referencing the Revival.
Yeah.
I think they'd fight people to get back down there. Like, they'd fight people.
After some more of the cat and mouse with Seth and Dean, we got Ronda Rousey in the ring. She soaked in the mixed reaction, a little more positive reaction than at Survivor Series, but we still got a "We Want Becky" chant because that's what we want.
Look, a lot of people pay good money to travel the globe to go out to Survivor Series weekend, wanting to see Becky Lynch,
And they didn't get to see her at all. She didn't.
you didn't get to see her at all. So, I mean, I don't blame those people for being annoyed about that.
Rousey being pissed off, but saying that she's a fighting champion, so she's going to defend her title in an open challenge right now. Baron Corbin came out. No, he's not challenging Rousey because he would get jobbed too. Eventually, Rousey talks Corbin into allowing it, and out comes Mickie James. That went about 3 minutes with Rousey going over. Afterwards, Nia Jax and Tamina show up on stage and just stare at her and at Ronda and walk off. So just letting them know that she's there. AOP, emphasis on the P. Took on Gable and Rude, and what? Gable and Rude win in 4 minutes over AOP? What? Guess we gotta have.
This shows you how bad the tag team division is on Raw. That AOP's number one contenders are Bobby Roode and Chad Gable.
Yeah, and that's who's gonna probably be the pre-show of TLC will be this match.
Ugh.
My God.
And maybe finally we can get Rude to turn heel. I don't know.
Long overdue.
Ambrose cut a promo in some darkened area where Kane usually cuts his promos, and what's that smell? A little more of the heel Ambrose coming out as he makes fun of Los Angeles. Another good promo though, and they show Rollins leaving the arena. I was waiting for Ambrose to just show up like right in front of the camera, but that didn't happen. But Ruby Riott and Natalya up next. This went about 8 minutes with Natalya getting one over on the Riott Squad. Dean Ambrose, another segment. He's walking towards the ramp. He's going to come out and talk. So he comes out, cuts promo on how LA's garbage, and look, Seth Rollins is running back into the arena to fight Ambrose, and he did get his hands on Ambrose for a little while, but another dick shot as a low blow, an arm to balls in the nice style of Nakamura, as Ambrose racks Rollins in the ding ding and hits a couple of dirty deeds to close out the night. Yeah, that Raw was there. Speaking of just being there, SmackDown was just being there tonight too, as we said earlier in the show. What did you though think of Charlotte's promo kicking things off? Good, bad, okay?
It was okay. I was okay with it.
It was fine. It really wasn't anything different than really what she said before. It was kind of more like a rehash, honestly.
The only repercussions of her attacking officials, she gets fined $100,000. Kayfabe.
Thanks for coming, Paige.
That was that was kayfabe cash. $100,000 in kayfabe cash.
You had your TV moment.
The Iconics then come out and make fun of Charlotte because the Iconics like to do that and they're great. So when they mock people, I laugh. Charlotte wasn't laughing. She offered to face one of them, and it turned out to be Billie Kay. that didn't take long before she got the win, and then challenged Peyton Royce to a match, and she didn't really want to, but eventually that happened. But the Iconics then gang up on her, on Charlotte, and so Charlotte wins by DQ. Eventually, the crowd was chanting for Becky Lynch like they thought Becky was going to make the save or something. But no, eventually Charlotte got the upper hand and beat the piss out of the Iconics on the outside, basically. How you put that. Next up was Miz TV, and this was weird. As we were saying, Miz kissing Shane's ass was weird. And now Miz is saying how he's looking up to Shane so much he wants to be his tag partner and has brought out some local competitors. Wayne and Dane Bryant.
This is dumb.
And they got their James Ellsworth moment as they beat Miz on a roll-up. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. And hey, it's a holiday, so we got to have some kind of holiday-themed street fight, right? Well, this wasn't really a street fight until the end of it, but yeah, your typical food fight thing or whatever you want to call it. Big E getting sexual with the turkey in the beginning, though. That was kind of yikes. And apparently 6-1 is getting over, even though it's actually technically 1-6. But basically, Xavier Woods putting over the fact that SmackDown's tag division got a win over Raw's on the kickoff show. Asuka and Naomi took on Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and the cracks are continuing to form between Deville and Rose, but Matt, not a break yet though. So maybe
it's coming.
Yeah, you feel it, don't you?
There was a video after SmackDown where Deville said she didn't trust Mandy anymore.
Who do you make Sonya a babyface out of all this?
You have to. Mandy's too good at being bad. So you can't make Sonya the heel here. You got if you're gonna split them and one has to be a face, one has to be a heel. Sonya has to be the baby face, in my opinion. So,
the main event that didn't get nearly enough time was Orton and Rey Mysterio. The entrances were with 10 minutes to go on the show. But this was more about Randy Orton tearing off Rey Mysterio's mask and taking it with him. And Tom Phillips acting like his identity is going to be revealed, completely forgetting the fact that he was maskless in WCW. But they showed a lot of Rey's face. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Maybe he's...
I'm very certain it was by accident, and I'm very certain he's not happy about it either.
Yeah. Yeah, considering he's putting over that trademark greatest mask of all time, so I don't think he's ditching the mask anytime soon. But Randy Orton, that RKO was sick though, wasn't it? Ray going through the ropes and boom, there it is. So Randy Orton wins and SmackDown ends with Orton holding Ray's mask. So yeah, SmackDown was just kind of there, wasn't it?
For these to be two shows after a Big Four pay-per-view, they were so lackluster.
They were. Usually those two shows are better than the pay-per-view sometimes.
Yeah, I was not enthusiastic about it.
But that's all we got. Daryl, thanks for joining us once again. Hope to have you back on soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
This is going to do it for Lost in the Midcard. As always, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard, hit that subscribe button, and that way every time a new episode comes your way. Typically every Thursday and select Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view that we haven't done that in forever. You can also subscribe to us on the YouTube. Links to all that are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. You can also do it on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. Give us a follow there. You'll also see us sharing a lot of the great wrestling tweets from all around the world. You can follow Daryl on the Twitter at NoOneLikeD. You can follow Matt on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. You can follow me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. And before we ride off into that sunset and eat a lot of turkey, Matt, what are your final thoughts?
It's a great question.
So your canvas is about as blank as SmackDown's was tonight.
Raw and SmackDown really, they're just
They phoned it in.
Definitely SmackDown was a phone in. I didn't see enough of Raw to give you a perfect verdict one way or another, but SmackDown was definitely a phoned in show.
I kind of enjoyed Raw. I enjoyed Raw more than SmackDown this week, actually. And I thought Raw was decent. I mean, it wasn't mind blowing. I don't, Daryl. Would you agree that it was enjoyable and a lot?
Yeah, it was decent. It was better than SmackDown. I will say that. I think SmackDown was like thrown together. Like that Miz shit, that Miz and Shane shit was just like, what the fuck?
And they barely addressed the getting smoked.
Right. Like it was just like, okay, we're just gonna sweep it under the rug. The fans, we don't give a shit. We'll see you next week.
They more than anything, they laughed it off and pretended like it didn't matter.
Right.
Which,
so,
in essence, it doesn't. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Raw versus SmackDown.
Not at all.
So,
I care about storylines that are supposed to matter. So my final thoughts are: WWE, stop giving me storylines, and then days later pretend to tell me that they don't fucking matter, because at that point, why should I care about anything that you do, period?
Pretty much.
All they had to do was make Becky Lynch come speak for like 5 minutes, and it would have been a good show. That's it.
It's true.
She's the biggest star in the company right now. So
I said it last week. It's a thing I stole from Ric Flair and I use on the podcast all the time. The best thing going in wrestling today, and right now that's Becky Lynch.
Absolutely.
For Daryl Bullock, Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning into the Lost of the Midcard. We will catch you soon. Have a good Turkey Day.